I mean, thanks for joining in. This session is. Hi. We're just starting. Come in, come in. So today we are basically going to be talking about the common concerns that we have with our kids. The two commonest things that comes to our mind is the specs and the screen. I mean, these are the most common questions that most of us have, and so we'll be talking about that. And thank you for coming here on a Sunday, and especially thanks to the kids for coming over here. So, बच्चों, I'm primarily be talking to you. अगर आपको कुछ समझ में नहीं आता, if you don't understand something, just let me know. हिंदी इंग्लिश दोनों आती है आपको? हिंदी आती है, इंग्लिश तो आती है सबको. पक्का? चलो ठीक है. तो बिकॉज मुझे इंग्लिश थोड़ी कम आती है, थोड़ी हिंदी में बात करूंगा, चलेगा ना? राइट? So आज हम basically will be talking about the eye health, right? Especially with respect to children today. So दो चीजों को हम कवर करेंगे प्राइमरली. एक तो ग्लासेस के बारे में, जो हमारे को चश्मा लगता है, उसके बारे में हमारे दिमाग में बहुत सारे क्वेश्चंस हैं. किसको किसको मम्मियों ने परेशान किया हुआ है चश्मे के बारे में या स्क्रीन के बारे में? किस किस बच्चे को मम्मी ने बहुत डांट लगाई हुई है? Has मम्मी scolded you? चलो मम्मी डैडी बराबर की बात है, राइट? एंड अदर थिंग इज द स्क्रीन्स, जिसके लिए हर रोज डांट पड़ती है ना? मम्मी फोन पे रहती है, फिर सडनली फोन उठा के देखती है, हाँ बेटा तू स्क्रीन पे कैसे बैठी है, फिर वापस फोन पे चली जाती है. ऐसा ही होता है ना, राइट? सो वी आर गोइंग टू बी टॉकिंग अबाउट दैट कि क्या प्रॉब्लम्स है, क्या हमें करना चाहिए, क्या हमें नहीं करना चाहिए. डू वी वांट टू लर्न अबाउट इट? अगर हम नहीं लर्न करें तो किसका नुकसान होगा, मेरा या मम्मी का? मम्मी का होगा कि आपका होगा? हाँ, आपका होगा ना. तो आप बड़े हो गए, अब तो आप लोग खुद का अपना ख्याल रखना है. मम्मी को छोड़ो, मम्मी तो अपना ख्याल रख ले तो ये बहुत बड़ी बात है, राइट? आपको अपना ख्याल रखना है. ऑलराइट. सो awareness about the eyes, we all know that nowadays good thing or bad, good thing is that people are very aware about their eyes. सबको पता है अपने बारे में कि eyes क्या होती हैं. तो is it a good thing? Sometimes, not always. कभी कभी वो awareness कुछ anxiety में convert हो जाती है and we start to worry a bit too much about it, and that leads to so many do's, don'ts, fears, restrictions, questions, etc., etc. You know, sometimes you get into that guilt mode कि यार पता नहीं मैंने क्या गलत कर दिया कि मेरे बच्चे को चश्मा लग गया, या मैं क्या ठीक नहीं कर रही हूँ कि मेरे बच्चे को परेशान हो रहा है. और बच्चे को 50 रिस्ट्रिक्शन दे रहे तो बच्चे को भी जो है परेशानियां हो रही होती है कि पता नहीं मम्मी इज ऑलवेज ऑन माई हेड. सो समटाइम्स टू मच ऑफ अवेयरनेस मे बी अ बैड थिंग ऑल्सो. So the objectives of the day today is that first of all we are going to be having fun with the kids. ठीक है? We want to have fun? Yes, good. That's number one. Number two, interact with each other and make friends with each other. That's number two. Number three, enjoy some activities that some we people have organized. Actually, Vanshika is the one who had organized everything. Unfortunately, she is not able to join because her kid is not well. But yeah, the other people are doing some work on that. So you will enjoy the activities. We'll do some discussions about the screen, glasses, and all those things. So we'll be talking. So me along with Dr. Neha, she'll be taking the next lecture. So the two of us, and there's a physician friend also will be there. So you can just ask some questions about food, screen, whatever that you have in mind. So I'm less experienced at it because I outsourced the work of raising my kids to my wife because she was better at it. But Neha is much better at handling kids with her twins, so she'll answer the practical parts of it. The most important target for me is that if you can go with at least one myth less today, with one burden less from your mind, that will be my goal achieved today. Because we are living with so many unnecessary burdens with us that we are like burdening ourselves, we are bothering ourselves and our kids and the kids' psychology with that part. So this is my target, that if we can go back with even one myth lesser, my job is done. So with this, let me just say, are you interested? Thank you. So let me just tell you a brief thing about myself. So who am I? Very profound question, honestly, when I don't know that answer, right? But let's try to see. So let me tell you what I have done so far. So some brief facts about myself and my story. So this is me with my all degrees and all. So this is what I used to look in '89 when I was a chota bacha. So that's when I came to Delhi from Banaras, and that's when I joined AIIMS in '89. And then I did my training from AIIMS and from the UK for my FRCS. So all those trainings I did. I did my seniors in AIIMS in retina. So and I've been running my own center since 2001 with more than 29 years in ophthalmology. We with our team have done more than 50,000 surgeries, have done a few VIPs and celebrities, can't of course name them, but the biggest VIP for me were my own parents, my parents-in-law. So that's my VIPs whom I can talk about. And I personally, I do cataract, LASIK, refractive surgeries, and retina and vitreous surgery. These are my specialty areas. Have been lucky to get some awards also at AIIMS and elsewhere. And I've been active in the television and all for some education things. And of course, in our conferences, we do keep talking about it. So we have got three centers. One is this, one in Southex, and one in Gurgaon. So these are the three centers that we have, and by the name of Synergy. Now, what we believe in are these four values. So competence, of course, each and every one of us have to do their job to the best of their abilities, whether it is a doctor or whether it is the person who is taking care of valet parking. So it's right from bottom to the top, everyone has to do to the best ability. The most important I feel is integrity. We have to do it with honesty. These are the four values we talk about. Then of course safety is important when you're dealing with patients, and do it with the compassion. And what I like maximum is that we like to work together with our patients to make them understand and learn about the disease so that they can take better care of themselves. So that is what we are going to be talking about. So we want to make you partners in your own eye care. So our centers are anyway accredited, all the TPA panels and all those things are there, fully equipped. And I'm lucky to have about more than 25 doctors like Dr. Neha and many more who are their own top levels in their fields who are coming to our facilities and using this center. So that way we have got a very, very good team. I'm very fortunate to have that. We've got a mix of very senior people to some very young ones, the young bloods also, like Shanti is there. So we've got the whole range, from the elderly wisdom to the youthful exuberance. So we've got everything with us. And we have all the subspecialties of eyes under the same roof. So all these we have in our centers that are there. We get good reviews from our patients also. So now possibly you know what I am, right? But what is more important for me is what I love to do. Now these are the things that I love to do. I love to talk to my patients, especially the younger ones, right? I don't like the middle people. Like I don't want to talk to the parents. I would like to talk to them directly. So that's where I would like to explain it to them because they are more intelligent than we are. So I don't need anyone else coming in between. So any questions that you have, you can directly ask me. I love to educate them as much as possible, empower them to take care of their own health. So I don't want them to kind of say ki ye karwa lo. I want them to understand what we are doing, why we are doing, and let them take the decision along with. And there has to be synergy. The patients have to be partners in their eye care. So that's what is very, very important for us. I've just written a book where we again talk about patients as partners, where I'm talking about how we can grow by taking help of the patients, because if they are happy, they're going to trust us, they're going to help us grow further. So this is a new book that we come out with. I have been coming in some TV news channels for education purposes. We have got our own YouTube channel also, where we got lots of videos. Not as active as Neha is on social media, but that's my weak point. But still, I would love to educate patients. I would like to learn from her. And we have got our own app also. So the patients, for the sake of convenience, we have got these things. So today, as we said, we'll be covering these two topics. First of all, the glasses, and secondly, the screen usage. So let's start with the glasses part. Now, do we know how our eyes work? Uh, do you know how the eyes work? Thoda bahut. You know how the camera works? Okay. So briefly, if I can tell you that this is our eye. It doesn't look that ugly as it is. It's much more beautiful, but humans can only make that kind. So here, first of all, there's a cornea in the front, and then there is a lens. So these are the two structures which basically change the ray of light, that change the direction. They work like a lens, right? They work to converge the ray of light. And then there is a retina behind where the images are formed. And then there is an optic nerve which transmits the image to your brain. All right. So what happens, the light comes, it gets refracted by the cornea and the lens. So this basically converges the rays of light, and that falls onto the retina, which works as a photoreceptor. And from there, the signals go through the optic nerve, and it is the brain which actually sees. Your eyes don't see, it is your brains that see. Eye is only a sensory organ which transmits the signals to the brain, and it ultimately is the brain which is seeing, right? So even if your eyes are okay, but if your brain is not working, you would not be able to see. Or if the optic nerve is not working, the connection, you would not be able to see. So it's important for that. Now, eye is like a camera. The way camera has a sensor, the way we have got retina, which is as a sensor. All the lens systems in the front are the focusing mechanisms, where we have got our cornea and lens which focus the eye. The way the lens has got an autofocus, like for distance there's a different focus, for near there's a different focus, it changes the focus. वैसे eyes में भी एक autofocus mechanism होता है, जो कि हम बूढ़े लोगों में धीरे धीरे खराब होना शुरू हो जाता है. So we start to get a presbyopia. We'll talk about that later, right? So eye is very much like a camera, rather much more advanced camera than camera is. कैमरा में मेगापिक्सल सुना आप लोगों ने क्या होता है, right? The more the megapixel, the sharper the image. The megapixel means in a small area how many dots you can identify separately. Same in the eye also, we got a megapixel system. But when you have got a more megapixel camera, the images become very heavy. राइट? पहले जो 1 MB की इमेज होती है आजकल वो 50 MB की हो रही है इमेजेस बिकॉज द मोर मेगापिक्सल्स. Now, if the images become heavy, more data getting transmitted to your brain, more time required to process that, everything becomes slowed down. So what eye has is a beautiful system where the central part has got more megapixels, the peripheral part has less megapixels. So if you're looking at someone, the central part is more clear, the peripheral part is less clear. So that is a beauty that जहाँ जरूरत है वहाँ पे ज्यादा मेगापिक्सल दे दी, जहाँ कम जरूरत है वहाँ पे कम मेगापिक्सल दे दी. So it's a very dynamic kind of a system. So that's the beauty of a human brain, which still we don't have in any camera. So if you see, if you're focusing at something, that part is looking clear, but peripheral part is not that clear. That is done to decrease the amount of stimulus and signals going to your brain. So anyway, eye may, whatever you see, it forms an inverted image on the retina. And after that, when it goes to the brain, that is where the real image is formed. The brain with its experience converts the image into the upside one. So that's again is a beauty there that in the eye. So therefore in eye, whatever you see, the images are forming ulta, right? Now, what happens when you don't need glasses? So there are people who don't have any glasses, like all the 3 kids out here don't have any glasses. That's nice. So sorry, this one has, but she's not wearing the glasses. All right. So when you don't have a glass, what happens that any point at the distance, say 6 मीटर या उससे दूर की distance का अगर point होता है, तो उससे जो rays of lights होंगी वो आपके हर direction में जाएंगी, right? हमारी आंखों का पर्पज है कि सारी जो डायरेक्शन की जो लाइट्स आंखों में पहुंचे उसको अल्टीमेटली कन्वर्ज करके एक सिंगल पॉइंट पे लेकर के आना है, ताकि ये जो चीज आपकी दिख रही है वहां पे डॉट, आपको रेटिना पे एक सिंगल डॉट बने. दैट इज आवर पर्पस. नाउ इन ऑप्टिक्स वी सी इफ एनीथिंग इज मोर देन 6 meters अपार्ट वी नॉर्मली प्रिज्यूम इट टू बी इन्फिनिटी. तो अगर इन्फिनिटी से कोई रेज ऑफ लाइट आ रही है तो दे विल बी ऑलमोस्ट बी पैरेलल. तो इट्स एन एक्सट्रापोलेशन. तो आइस का जो पर्पज होता है, जो पैरेलल रेज ऑफ लाइट आ रही है उसको रेटिना के ऊपर पॉइंट फोकस में करके आ जाए. बिकॉज वी प्रिज्यूम कि जो पैरेलल रेज ऑफ लाइट है वो एक पॉइंट सोर्स से आ रही है, तो वहां का जो पॉइंट अगर आपके रेटिना में एक पॉइंट दिखेगा दैट मींस यू आर एबल टू सी क्लियरली. अगर वो एक सिंगल पॉइंट पे फोकस नहीं होगा तो इट विल बी ब्लर्ड. सो दैट इज व्हाट रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर इज ऑल अबाउट. अगर आपको चश्मा नहीं है दैट मींस आपको दूर की लाइट को आप एक पॉइंट पे फोकस कर पा रहे हो. So, जैसे इसमें दिखाया कि जो पैरेलल रेज ऑफ लाइट आ रही हैं उसको अल्टीमेटली कॉर्निया और लेंस के लेवल पे एक सिंगल डॉट पे फोकस हो गया रेटिना के ऊपर में. सो दैट मीन्स अगर 2 डॉट्स बगल बगल में है तो दोनों डॉट्स यहाँ पे अलग अलग फोकस होंगे, तो यू कैन डिफरेंशिएट बिटवीन द 2 डॉट्स. Otherwise, the 2 dots will become blurred and merged. So that is what the normal vision is all about. Now, what happens? This is what is called emetropia. We like to complicate things. ना तो simple नहीं बोल सकते कि normal है, उसको कुछ नाम देना होगा टेढ़ा मेढ़ा से, तो emetropia बोलते हैं हम उसको, ताकि patient समझ ना पाए, right? So now what we have is the 2 conditions, एक myopia और एक hypermetropia. जैसा आपने सुना होगा कि चश्मा लगता है बच्चों को प्लस नंबर या माइनस नंबर लगता है. ना मायोपिया में क्या होता है कि जो टोटल कन्वर्जिंग पावर होती है आई की वो रिक्वायरमेंट से ज्यादा होती है. दैट मीन्स कि जो रेज ऑफ लाइट है वो पहले कन्वर्ज कर जाएंगी. ये 2 कारणों से हो सकती है, या तो आपकी कन्वर्जिंग पावर ज्यादा हो या फिर आपकी आई बॉल की साइज बड़ी हो. क्योंकि अगर आई बॉल की साइज बड़ी होगी तो रेज पहले फोकस हो जाएंगी, या फिर अगर कन्वर्जिंग पावर ज्यादा होगी तो रेज पहले फोकस हो जाएंगी. सो दिस इज व्हाट हैपेंस दैट योर रेज आर गेटिंग फोकस्ड बिफोर द रेटिना इज रीच्ड. इसलिए जब तक वो रेटिना पे रेज पहुंचते तो थोड़ी सी और फैलनी शुरू हो जाती है. सो इंस्टेड ऑफ अ डॉट यू सी अ सर्कल ऑफ ब्लर. सो दैट इज व्हाट हैपेंस इन मायोपिया. In hypermetropia, it is just the reverse, where the converging power of the eye is lesser than what is required, या the eyeball is shorter than what is normal. तो उस केस में क्या होता है, जो रेज जो है वो रेटिना पे ना फोकस होकर थोड़ा रेटिना के पीछे जाके फोकस होती है. देयर अगेन यू विल सी अ ब्लर. ठीक है. सो दिस इज व्हाट इज ऑल देयर अबाउट द रिफ्रैक्टिव एरर. नाउ this again thing, normal vision में the thing is getting focused at the retina, myopia में it is in front, hypermetropia में it is behind. और एक एस्टिग्मेटिज्म होता है जहां पे कि इट इज नॉट अ इवन सरफेस. जैसे एक फुटबॉल इज अ इवन सरफेस बट रग्बी बॉल का 2 सरफेस अलग होते हैं, तो वहां पे द पॉइंट डज नॉट कम टू अ सिंगल पॉइंट फोकस. देयरफॉर ए स्टिग्मा एस्टिग्मेटिज्म मींस ए स्टिग्मा, स्टिग्मा मींस पॉइंट एंड ए मींस नॉट. दैट मींस द रेज डोंट कम टू अ पॉइंट फोकस. तो इसके लिए सिलिंड्रिकल लेंसेज है, बट लेट्स नॉट गो देयर टू मच राइट नाउ. नाउ हाउ डू वी करेक्ट इट? अब मायोपिया में क्या है कि आपका टोटल जो है कन्वर्जिंग पावर इज मोर देन व्हाट इज रिक्वायर्ड. So how do we correct something which is more? We reduce it. How do we reduce? We put a minus power in the front. तो minus power क्या करता है? Concave lens होता है जो कि रेज को डाइवर्ज करता है. So जितना एक्स्ट्रा कन्वर्जिंग हमारी आंखों में उसके आगे उतना आपने माइनस डाल दिया, तो then the rays will focus on the retina. ठीक है. So यहाँ पे what you see, the rays are focusing in front. Here we put a concave lens here, a minus power lens. The rays get focused at the retina. So this is a simple solution that we do. अभी आप चाहो तो ग्लासेस में डाल सकते हो, या फिर आप इसको कॉन्टैक्ट लेंस में कॉर्निया के ऊपर पहन सकते हो। सो ईदर ऑफ द टू थिंग्स यू कैन डू, जिससे कि आपकी रेज जो है कॉर्निया से मतलब रेटिना के ऊपर फोकस होनी शुरू हो जाए। तो दिस इज मायोपिया। और मायोपिया में नॉर्मली क्या होता है कि जो नियर की जो पार्ट है वो आपको दिखाई देता है, दूर का नहीं दिखाई देता। रीजन इज कि जब नियर से कोई लाइट आ रही है तो उसकी रेस और ज्यादा कन्वर्ट डाइवर्ज होते हुए आएंगी। इन्फिनिटी से तो पैरेलल आ रही है, लेकिन अगर आप पास से देखें तो रेज और डाइवर्ज हो रही है, तो और ज्यादा डाइवर्ज होने वाली रेस को कन्वर्ज करने आपको ज्यादा पावर चाहिए होगा। हमारे पास ऑलरेडी ज्यादा पावर है, तो नियर का तो फिर भी देख लेता है माइनस पावर वाला बंदा, लेकिन दूर का नहीं देख पाता, राइट। नॉर्मल बंदा क्या करता है, नियर का देखने के उसको अपनी पावर बढ़ानी पड़ती है, जहाँ पे लेंस को शेप चेंज करना पड़ता है। बट मायोपिया वाले केस में उसको बिना उसको चेंज किए उसको दिखाई दे रहा है नजदीक का, बट दूर का नहीं दिखाई दे रहा। सो दैट इज अबाउट द माइनस पावर। ना प्लस में इट इज जस्ट द रिवर्स। तो प्लस में क्या होता है, जो रेज है आपकी पीछे जाके फोकस हो रही है क्योंकि कन्वर्जिंग पावर कम है, उसको ठीक करने के लिए आपको प्लस का लेंस लगाना पड़ता है। तो दैट पार्ट वी आर क्लियर। नाउ द इंटरेस्टिंग थिंग दैट हैपेंस इन अ प्लस पावर इज, क्योंकि हमारे आंखों में नेचुरल टेंडेंसी होती है कि हम अपने लेंस की पावर को बढ़ा सकते हैं, कम नहीं कर सकते। वो इसलिए होता है क्योंकि हमें रीडिंग के लिए पावर बढ़ानी पड़ती है, जैसा मैंने समझाया था, और बट कम करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ती। तो क्योंकि जो नेचुरल पावर बढ़ाने की होती है, तो बच्चों में या छोटे लोगों में अगर प्लस नंबर होता है तो वो उसको लेंस को एडजस्ट करके दूर का भी देख पाते हैं, ठीक है। बट उसमें उनको एक्स्ट्रा एफर्ट लगाना पड़ता है। तो अगर ज्यादा पावर हो या ज्यादा देर तक यूज हो, कभी कभी उनको सर दर्द की प्रॉब्लम हो सकती है। तो देयरफॉर कई बार प्लस नंबर जो है बच्चों का हमें पता नहीं चलता, एंड दैट इज व्हाई वी हैव टू डायलेट द आईज टू रिलैक्स द लेंस टोटली सो दैट वी कैन गेट द रियल पावर। अदरवाइज वो बच्चे ने एकोमोडेट कर लिया तो हमें एग्जैक्ट पावर नहीं पता चल पा रहा, राइट। सो कई बार होता है कि प्लस नंबर बाद में पता चलता है हमारे को, क्योंकि बच्चों शुरू में बच्चों की मसल्स बहुत स्ट्रांग होती है। एज वी ग्रो ओल्डर आवर मसल्स कीप गेटिंग वीकर। दैट इज वन रीजन व्हाई प्लस नंबर्स आर नॉट डिटेक्टेड दैट अर्ली। ऑलराइट, बट समटाइम्स इफ दे हैव अ स्ट्रेन दे मे बी डिटेक्टेड। या नियर विजन में बच्चे को हो सकता है दिक्कत होनी शुरू हो जाए, बिकॉज नियर के लिए नॉर्मली उसको 3 डायप्टर करना है और दूर के लिए 2 और करना है, मान लो तो 5 करना पड़ रहा है इंस्टेड ऑफ 3, तो ही मे हैव अ स्ट्रेन बिकॉज ऑफ दैट। सो दैट इज अबाउट द प्लस नंबर। एस्टिग्मेटिज्म, जैसा मैंने कहा कि अगर पॉइंट फोकस में नहीं है तो वी गिव अ सिलेंड्रिकल पावर ऑफ लेंस देयर। नाउ प्रेस बायोपिया, सिंस हम उसको कवर कर रहे हैं, 2 बच्चों से रिलेटेड नहीं है, बट नॉर्मली 40 साल की एज के आसपास में वी नीड द रीडिंग ग्लासेस, बिकॉज हमारे लेंस की कन्वर्जन कैपेसिटी कम होती चली जाती है। तो इसलिए हमारे को एडेड प्लस लेंस लगाना पड़ता है, बट ओनली फॉर रीडिंग, डिस्टेंस के लिए नहीं, सिर्फ रीडिंग के लिए लगाना पड़ता है। सो दैट इज अबाउट प्रेस बायोपिया। सो एनी क्वेश्चन सो फार? Any questions?
How much of this is hereditary and how much of this is
Good, good. So often na, everything in life is hereditary. Some degree of heredity is there. Some diseases are one to one hereditary, जैसे कि आपने नाइट ब्लाइंडनेस, वो आपने हीमोफीलिया सुना होगा एग्जाम्पल उसका, या समझे आपकी डायरेक्टली वन टू वन रिलेशन होता है। But most of the factors are multifactorial, like diabetes, heart disease, glasses, all these are having hereditary pattern, but heredity is not the only factor. So if the parents are having glasses, chances of child having glasses is more, but it is not inevitable that he would have glasses. And vice versa. If the parents don't have glasses, doesn't mean the child would not have glasses. So that plays a role, but that is not the only factor.
can this be corrected, right? For metropia, I mean, is it a lifelong thing or can they be corrected through exercise?
Yeah. So I'll okay. I'll possibly coming to that part, but I'll just remind me to work on that part. So some questions like, let me ask you, what is the refractive error or need of glasses? Are we clear on that part? Yeah, that we are not able to focus a ray coming from infinity into a point focus at a relaxed state. Now, what are the different types of refractive error? Myopia, जहाँ पे कि आपको माइनस पावर की जरूरत होती है because eyes got a more converging power. Hypermetry पे जहाँ पे आपको प्लस की पावर की जरूरत है because eyes got a lesser converging power. And astigmatism, that is where you need a cylindrical power at particular axis. The commonest type जो होता है बच्चों में वो मायोपिया होता है because that is what manifests most of the time. और मायोपिया में क्या होता है, बच्चे को दूर का नहीं दिखाई दे रहा होता, नजदीक का वो फिर भी मैनेज कर लेता है, राइट। सो पावर का इंक्रीज का जो क्वेश्चन है, तो नॉर्मली क्या होता है कि विथ एज द आई बॉल साइज इंक्रीजेस। जब आई बॉल की साइज इंक्रीज होगी तो माइनस
पावर और बढ़ेगा और प्लस पावर थोड़ा कम होगा।
तो नॉर्मली माइनस पावर इंक्रीजेस एंड प्लस पावर डिक्रीजेस एज द चाइल्ड ग्रोज, एंड नॉर्मली अप टू अबाउट 18 ईयर्स ऑफ एज तक में जो है सारा चेंजेस होता है। देयरफॉर 18 ईयर्स के बाद ही हम बच्चे का कोई भी सर्जरी वगैरह एडवाइस करते हैं चश्मा हटाने वाला, बिकॉज टिल दैट टाइम द नंबर्स विल कंटिन्यू टू चेंज। किसी का 18 के पहले रुक सकता है, किसी का थोड़ा बाद में भी हो सकता है, बट एवरेज स्पीकिंग 18 ईयर्स इज व्हेन द powers tend to stabilize. The minus power tends to increase, and the plus power tends to decrease. That's the normal, but again there can be variation because आई बॉल की साइज के साथ में लेंस की भी शेप चेंज हो सकती है, तो कुछ वेरिएशंस हो सकती हैं. सो इट्स नॉट clear cut, but majority of the people this is how it happens, right? Now can this number be removed or stopped from progressing? So the sad answer is it cannot be removed by any exercise or anything, right? The plus number थोड़ा बहुत है तो हो सकता है कम होकर के जीरो हो जाए, but minus power will tend to increase only. Now what we can try is that we can try to decrease the progression. Earlier हमारे पास उसके भी कोई तरीके नहीं थे उसको कैसे डिक्रीज करने हैं, but now there are some proven ways in which we can at least work towards decreasing the progression. So I'll be talking about that part.
So you'll probably cover the new type of lenses.
Yeah. So myopia control basically, why is it important? Because high minus power में जो problems होती है, because eyeball का size बड़ा होने की वजह से जो अंदर retina होता है, that retina also gets stretched out. And as retina I said is a very very important part of the eye, तो stretching out होने से retina में tear या holes या weaknesses होने का risk होता है. So that can be one factor why myopia we would not like it to increase. दूसरा अगर myopia है भी, आपको minus power high है, तो you must understand you must get a regular retina checkup for the patients, because that may mean अगर हमने कोई retina में weakness देखा तो उसको timely treat कर सकते हैं. So that is where my retina surgeon and Neha's retina surgeon will be speaking about, right? So normally every once in a year is good enough, but depends if we find some lesions in the retina, we might like to keep on a closer follow-up. So that helps, which we can use up to 15-16 years of age. जब progression होता है, you put that drop once in the night time, that decreases the chance of progression to some extent. And it's a very very simple thing. एक बार रात को drops डालने, that's another thing that we can do. And third, कुछ special glasses होते हैं that we will be talking about, that how they work in a very brief way. I don't want to bombard you with too much of information there. So these are the three ways that we can do. These are the ways that we are thinking how the power increases. So low dose atropine, as I said, that this is 0.01% atropine use करते हैं once in the night time, and it inhibits the accommodation part of it. इसलिए जो minus power का progression थोड़ा सा कम हो जाता है उसका. That is one thing that we can do. Other thing what happens is whenever we give a normal glasses, तो जो periphery of the retina में जो rays जाती हैं वो retina के पीछे focus होती हैं for some optical aberrations that are happening also because of the shape of the eye. Because of that, the eye gets a tendency to further enlarge to see it. That peripheral defocus causes the eye to enlarge further. So अगर आपने पूरा normal correction दिया तो that might lead to further increase in the glasses power. So what we do in these special lenses is कि central part का focus होता है so that you get the clear vision, but peripheral part का थोड़ा सा defocused होता है ताकि it is falling in front of the retina so that the eye does not get that motivation to increase the size further. So these are the special lenses that have been introduced a few years back only, and they have shown that about 60% of the people can decrease the progression. It would not become zero, but it would decrease the progression because of जो stimulus for growth है वो कम हो जाती है उसकी. So that is the basic funda about these lenses. So in a normal eye, when you have got minus power, central part में आपका जो rays of light है वो retina के आगे focus हो रही होती है. Therefore you are seeing blurred. जब आप normal चश्मा देते हैं तो आप central part आपका retina पे focus होना शुरू हो जाता है, so you see clear. But your peripheral part that goes beyond the retina, and therefore the eye tends to enlarge further. But these lenses, what they do, central part तो central में focus होता है, but periphery में थोड़ा defocus करके उसको retina के आगे कर देते हैं. So they basically peripheral part के लिए वो कम minus power का lens use होता है, central part के लिए ज़्यादा power का use होता है. Therefore that expansion of the eye becomes lesser. So that is how it helps. So this is the theory, but practically what they have seen, but again this we can only know in the long-term studies. So new lenses, the studies have shown that 60% progression रुक जाता है, कम हो जाता है, zero नहीं होता. But whatever we have seen in the patients, they tend to do well. And I think they also have some policies where if the lenses are changing, they will replace. But that is something that we can give it a try, right? The problems are what they normally do. They have these small eyelets within the lens, which add on a plus power to that thing. So instead of minus one, थोड़ा सा कम power होता है. That is for the peripheral focusing. So these are the various designs that have. This is the way the lenses look like. So if you see very closely, you can see these kind of subtle kind of bumps that are there, which in a regular thing you can't make out. बच्चों को थोड़ा सा adjust करने में थोड़ा सा time हो सकता है लगे because there is a bit of a defocus that is there, but most kids adapt quite well within a few weeks. So this is what the lenses are about. So to conclude on this part, so what we can do, first of all, spend as much time outdoors as you can. Now this is very important. Then there's a 20-20-20 rule that is there, so that whenever you're working on the computer screens, every 20 minutes take a break for 20 seconds, look at something 20 feet apart away. So that is something to relax your muscles, because the muscles, when you're working on a close thing, the muscles are always contracted. So we need to relax. Otherwise तो क्या है कि और myopia की तरफ ज़्यादा बढ़ेगा. and then hold your digital devices a bit further away. Now this is important for the children क्योंकि हम तो बहुत पास रख के हमें दिखाई नहीं देगा. At my 50 years of age, I cannot see that close. But बच्चों का accommodation बहुत strong होता है. They can keep it very close and read. So they can manage, but that उससे उसका power बढ़ने का chances बढ़ता है. So you should keep the screen at least 30 centimeters away from you. All right, बच्चों, समझ में आ रहा है मैं क्या बोल रहा हूँ? स्क्रीन को थोड़ा सा दूर रखना है आपको अपनी आंखों के सामने से, right? And go to bed early, at least 8 hours of sleep every day, right? इससे किसको फायदा होगा? मम्मी को या पापा को? आपको फायदा होगा ना? तो आप समझदार हो, मम्मी पापा को तो आपको यहाँ पे ड्राइविंग के लिए बुलाया है, ड्राइव करके लाने के लिए, ड्राइव करके ले जाने के लिए, बाकी तो आपसे ही बात करनी है. तो अगर आपको फायदा होगा तो आप उसको करोगे, नहीं होगा तो आप मत करना. ठीक है, सिंपल सी बात है. या so screen or book doesn't matter too much. Anything that you're working at very close is going to be a problem. Screen में थोड़ा सा bright light is another factor that might be there, but both are more or less similar. Another thing with the screen is because when you're reading, you tend to take breaks in between. But when you're watching a movie, you tend to stare at it like this without blinking even. So that's the reason that the attention span becomes more there. Therefore, you tend to have worse things with the screen.
Book lovers,
Uh-huh.
not us. Like we are also ADHD people right now. I'm also Dr. So, but the kids who are just like to read a lot. So we can't say take a break and do something. It's not possible. They will do the same thing what they're. So for them, in fact, and they are streaming like this only. It's very difficult to make them like read like this or put.
You don't make them do it. They'll do it themselves. If they understand, they'll do it. If they don't do it, they'll suffer. Khatam baat. They are smart, big guys. They'll take care of themselves. Right?
So what you're saying is that essentially screen doesn't make a difference. It's the time spent in front of it that
The way you use the screen. The way you use the screen. So again, coming to the book part, to sit upright when reading and avoid lying down and reading, and keep the material about 30 centimeters or so away. Nutrients, of course, I think I'll just give the gyan and she'll tell you the practical things, Neha, how to take care of the nutrients part. So we'll skip that part. A good lighting is essential, of course. And if you have a problem, of course, you have to visit the eye doctors, right? So any questions so far on this? I mean, of course, there are other harmful effects of the screen. Also, I'll be coming to the screen chapter later on. And we have got two of my friends who are from this space in a way. So Pranav makes something about the electromagnetic radiations. So besides this, there are some EMR, there's radiations also that may harm it. So he actually has some devices which control the radiations. And Alek is into metaverse, right? So though I don't know actually, in fact, how that, it's not very near as far. I don't know. Maybe you would know that. Will that be less harmful, more harmful compared to the screens? We don't know, but that might be an interesting thing because you are apparently seeing things a bit further away in a metaverse than something very close. So maybe the accommodation part will not be working so much. But then, of course, if you don't blink, if you're too much engrossed in that, then so if you make a very good program, that's harmful for us. So don't make boring programs. So people blink. So that's what we'll have to work on. So there are interesting times ahead now. So the things will be changing in the future. So if there are any questions about this, I'll be happy to answer, or we'll go to the screen next. Right? So let's talk about the dry eyes now. So, so this is one problem that gives lots of teary eyes to the parents. So बच्चों की dry eyes होती है, माहिर हो रही होती है उसके लिए. So, and I think all of us have some degree of dry eyes, right? So the common symptoms for the dry eyes can be redness, irritation, some radakpan, foreign body sensations, and all those things that can be there that we are all aware of. The basic problem with the screen is that we tend to blink less. We forget to blink, and we tend to blink less, not completely also. So we tend to blink half blink. So when we don't blink completely, the eyelids don't close well, and there's a small secretion that comes out whenever the eyelids blink that doesn't come out, and that further exacerbates the dryness. And if we are keeping things very close to our eyes, then we feel the strain also. So that is the problem with this screen time. So you cannot run away from the screen. They are the part of our life, right? So we cannot tell the child कि तुम screen मत देखो. We can restrict the timings or something, but we have to be more practical about it. Okay, you have to use it, but use it in this way. So what we have to do is make a conscious effort to blink more regularly. That is very important. And 20-20-20 rule that I talked about, and replenish the tear film with the lubricating eye drops whenever you have a problem. You can always do some warm compresses if required. Use the artificial tears. You can use humidifiers in the room. Stay hydrated. So these are the things that we can do. So you can blink, break, and bathe. Blink more often, take breaks, and bathe your eyes in the lubricating drops whenever required. So you can remember these three B's. This I just made today only. It's not so the three B's that I made today. So blink, break, and breathe. Bathe. So unstructured kind of a screen can be you can using 3+ hours a day. Unsupervised use, used as a babysitter. We all are culprits of that. Passive watching during meals, no child lock, and the better way can be up to 1 hour a day. Rules and limit are set. Parents are involved. Talking, engaging, no screens on the table. Educational. ये सब theoretical funding है. How to do that? I think Neha would be covering that part in detail. I mean, there's a lippy flow thing, but I think I'll skip that part. It's more about how to treat dry eyes, but that's not relevant to the kids, so I'll leave it there. Any other questions if we have, or I mean, there's some questions that I wrote down. If you have answers to these, I'll skip that. Otherwise, I'll be happy to answer, or any other question that you have about these. This is the end of my talk. So why does my child have glasses is one question. Uh, so it's none of their fault that they have glasses. It's most likely your fault, as Gaurav said. It's somewhere in genetics, and somewhere they're born with it. Not everyone is 5 feet 7 inches. Someone is going to be less. Someone is going to be more. Same with the eyeball is not going to be exactly the same. So that's okay to have glasses. So there's none of their fault and none of your fault that they have glasses. So get out of this guilt that your child has glasses. The biggest problem the parents have that the child has a glass, so they feel कि मैंने क्या गलत कर दिया था. Nothing you could have done that would have prevented it. One advice I give to all the parents whenever the child is prescribed glasses कि don't make a big halla out of it. जो बच्चा आपके पास पहली बार चश्मा लगाता है उसको ना आता है बिल्कुल नॉर्मल आता है. And I think Deepa knows someone whose child was told that she has got glasses, and she slapped the child right there in front of me. She got so psyched up with that, right? So I think don't do that. It's perfectly okay, and rather don't give too much of ज्ञान to the child also कि तुम ये करो तुम वो करो, because the बच्चे को लगता है suddenly मेरे साथ क्या हो गया यार, मैं एकदम ठीक ठाक था and suddenly you know what has happened. So at least you and your immediate family should not give too much of think ये करो वो करो. Just take it as a matter of fact. I would often tell them that you are smart, they were having glasses, right? So smart people use glasses. Simple. You see, there's so many smart people out here. So what mistake we made? Again, you didn't make any mistake. The mistake you will make is that we make a fuss about it. Don't make a fuss about it. It's a normal thing. Is it compulsory to use glasses all the time? Now that is interesting that many people say कि यार चश्मा लगाए तो चश्मा हर समय लगाओ तो चश्मे की पावर और बढ़ जाएगा. Now what I was telling you in the previous slides, अगर आप चश्मा लगाओगे तो that might actually cause the power to increase also. So ऐसा नहीं कि चश्मा नहीं लगाने से माइनस पावर में कोई नुकसान होता है. There are some conditions जब जरूरी होता है जब बच्चे के शुरू के 8 से 10 साल की एज में, because it is ultimately the brain which sees, right? When the brain is developing, and that is the first 8 years or 10 years of life, उस समय अगर बच्चे को क्लियर विजन नहीं मिल रही तो that area of the brain that sees would not develop, and that we call as a lazy eye or amblyopia. So that age group, yes, अगर बच्चे को चश्मा है, significant power है तो उसको लगाना जरूरी है. After that, if the child does not use glasses, it won't harm her. So उसको पीछे मत पड़ेगा कि चश्मा लगाना है. Many people will say कि अच्छा पढ़ते समय चश्मा लगाना है, दूर में भली मत लगाओ. It's actually other way around. आपको दूर में जरूरत है बच्चे को, पढ़ने का तो बिना चश्मे के भी पढ़ पाता है. यस, कभी कभी होता है कि अगर बिना चश्मे के पढ़ा है तो थोड़ी मसल की इम्बैलेंस की वजह से कभी उसको स्ट्रेन हो सकता है. सो दैट इज ऑल राइट. अगर उसको कुछ दिक्कत हो तो लगाया, तो चश्मा नहीं लगाएगी तो आंखों में खराबी नहीं आती मोस्ट ऑफ द केसेस. सो डोंट गेट टू हाइपर अबाउट बच्चे की चश्मा तो लगाएगा ही लगाएगा. 0.5 का पावर होता है. माँ बाप पीछे पड़ोगे तो चश्मा नहीं लगाया तेरी आंखें खराब हो जाएंगी. पावर बढ़ना है तो एज के साथ वैसे ही बढ़ेगा. चश्मा नहीं लगाने से कोई बहुत फर्क नहीं पड़ता. सो डोंट मेक द लाइफ मिजरेबल प्लीज, because this is one thing that is a major point of contention between the parents and the child. बच्चा चश्मा नहीं लगाता, and I often when I tell them कि जरूरत नहीं है तो बच्चा तो मेरा फैन हो जाता है, माँ बाप बाद में दिखा जाएगा, so that's a fact, and scientifically we can prove that. It's not that I'm just saying it. Unfortunately, many eye surgeons will tell you कि चश्मा लगाना जरूरी है, and this is the unfortunate part that people still propagate this thing, but it is not compulsory. Amblyopia I covered about that. Using glasses for reading I have covered. कॉन्टैक्ट लेंस, सम पीपल से किया ना मेरे बच्चे को मैं कॉन्टैक्ट लेंस इसलिए लगाता हूँ ताकि उसका नंबर ना बढ़े. बिग मिसकंसेप्शन. Contact lenses do not prevent progression of the glasses number. Contact lenses, I personally don't like too much. Glasses are the best option. If you have to use contact lenses, use it very sparingly, daily disposable ones, because every time you use contact lenses, there's a chance of infection, injury, allergy, dryness, so many things can happen. कॉन्टैक्ट लेंस लगाने से नंबर रुकता नहीं है. नॉर्मली कॉन्टैक्ट लेंस आप 15-16 साल के बाद लगाते हो, तब तक नंबर वैसे ही स्टेबलाइज होना शुरू हो जाता है. सो वी फॉल्सली क्रेडिट कॉन्टैक्ट लेंसेज, इसकी वजह से नंबर रुक गया. बट इट्स द एज दैट विल एनीवे बी स्टॉपिंग द नंबर्स. लेजिक के बारे में it's one of the options of removing the surgery glasses. So I personally feel if you are happy with glasses, don't do anything to your eyes. If you don't want to use glasses, then maybe think about LASIK. And contact lens is the last option. LASIK अगर करना है तो power has to be stable. 18 साल की एज कम से कम होनी चाहिए. And उसका रेटिना कॉर्निया वगैरह सारा चेक करके उसके बाद ही फिर उसकी सर्जरी की जाती है. There are other options also available.
And stable, like for how, what duration?
So normally 6 months to a year.
2 years.
So both the criteria have to be met. 16 साल के बच्चे का स्टेबल है, then also I like to wait for 2 years more. और अगर 19 साल पे भी स्टेबल नहीं, तो I would like to wait because we are in no hurry to operate. So there's no urgency of doing the surgery, so it's always better to wait. The other precautions I talked about: retina checkup, effect of screen on glasses. Again, screen does not have so much of an effect on the glasses number increase, but you're keeping it very close, whether screen or a book, that would have an effect. Blue blocking glasses, कई बार आप बड़े लोग बोलते हैं मेरे को blue blocking पहनना है. Honestly, it doesn't make any sense, because blue blocking का concept क्या है कि in the daytime we normally see blue light, in the night time we don't see blue light. So there is something called the circadian rhythm of the body. When body sees blue light, it presumes it is a daytime. तो अगर आप रात के समय blue light देख रहे होगे तो आपको sleep वगैरह में दिक्कतें आएंगी. So therefore in the night time you should ideally be off the screens, or if you're using the screen at that time you can use a night mode of the screen or something where your blue light is lesser. तो ब्लू फिल्टरिंग ग्लासेस क्या होते हैं, ब्लू लाइट को फिल्टर कर देते हैं. सो दैट इज ऑल राइट. आपने ब्लू फिल्टरिंग ग्लासेस रात को लगाया, दैट मेक्स सेंस. पर दिन के समय आप ब्लू ग्लासेस लगा के घूम रहे हो तो बॉडी विल थिंक इट्स अ नाइट टाइम. सो इट विल either you have two separate glasses, one for the daytime, one for the night, and then it makes sense. Otherwise, blue screen glasses kind of is a unnecessarily farce. During the COVID times, optical वालों ने इसे निकाल दिया कहानी. It's of no practical usage there. So the concept is that nowadays all the screens have a night mode. So basically, you decrease the blue light. In fact, even the room lights, they say that you should not have a blue light in your bedroom. You should have somewhere towards a red light, or maybe those पुराने वाले जो bulb होते थे, those are better, the yellow ones, rather than these LED lights. So those are, that's a different question. I think Pranav knows more about that. Yeah.
Yeah. So my question is regarding blue light. There are a lot of glasses which are offered as like from screen protection.
Yeah.
I thankfully don't have glasses, right? But then it's suggested you should have it because I work a lot
Yeah.
on computer. It's suggested to have a glass.
So it's not, it's a waste. It's not required.
There's no more difference.
And the rot runs so deep that yesterday I saw one of my receptionists wearing a glass. मैंने कहा तेरे को चश्मा कब से लग गया? बोलती सर ना मैं स्क्रीन पे बैठती हूँ इसलिए मैंने लगाया. तो मेरे सेंटर में मेरी रिसेप्शनिस्ट ग्लास लगा के बैठी हुई थी. मैंने कहा कोई जरूरत नहीं, हटा उसको. So no, this it's again ये ऑप्टिकल वाले जो है ना, they want to sell off their glasses. So actually it doesn't make sense. Nowadays the screens are so good, you can always control the contrast and everything there. So you don't have to use the glasses there. So I think that's all. I think I just made these diagrams to yeah.
I have one more question. Like our older daughter, she's got like higher prescription myopia. So what is the good age for her to have a retina checkup as well as glaucoma, because there's a family history also of glaucoma. So what age would you advise, or how frequently?
So see, if you anyway have glasses, you're going to a doctor.
Yeah.
And any doctor who is there will be looking at the glaucoma part. The kids normally would not have glaucoma. Even the congenital part would not happen that time. But when going for a complete checkup, and you're not going to a simple optical guy, going to an ophthalmologist, they will do all those jobs. Then you can just be relaxed about that. The retina checkup, normally anyone can have a retina problem. People with plus powers can also have, zero powers can also, but normally people with minus power, high minus power are more likely to have it. So if I have to select out of 100 people, 10 people to do it, then I'll do it in -5 and more. But ideally speaking, I would like to do in everyone. Something like a heart condition, heart disease will happen in people with diabetes, obesity, and all those things. So it can happen in anyone, but you have to select some. I'll select those high risk cases. So when you're going to ophthalmologist, then he will be doing a complete checkup anyways. So don't have to like worry. Just tell the person that you have a family history of glaucoma, so they'll look at that part.
What are your views on the isotopic drops? Should we be giving it to the kids?
Those are simple artificial tears drops only. Isotonic means having the same tonicity as that of tears. I think Limca came out with the isotonic salts thing. Right? So Limca ने सबसे पहले treatment शुरू किया था with isotonic. No big deal, yeah. The normal saline we use is isotonic. So everything isotonic is nothing, just the same tonicity. So most of the artificial tears are those having the same tonicity as the.
Lazy eyes, can they be cured automatically, or what? Do they like recover automatically, or a treatment is required?
देखो लेजी आई में होता क्या है कि लाइक इफ यू गॉट टू ट्विंस राइट, और दो बच्चों में से एक बच्चा ज्यादा ताकतवर है दूसरा कम ताकतवर है, आप खाना दे रहे हो जो ज्यादा ताकतवर है वो ज्यादा खाना खा ले रहा है, कमजोर वाले को खाने नहीं दे रहा, so the stronger one will stay strong, the weaker one will become more and more weak, right? Same thing is with lazy eye. When the two eyes, the one eye is better than the other eye, that eye is seeing better, so brain के अंदर जो signals जाते हैं, दोनों eye से signals जाते हैं, एक clear जा रहा है एक unclear जा रहा है, brain gets confused, what it does वो unclear वाले को block कर देता है, so that it doesn't have any confusion. और कभी मान लो squint की वजह से होता है तो दो अलग अलग सिग्नल डबल विजन होता है, उसमें एक को ब्लॉक कर देता है. तो लेजी आई में क्या होता है कि एक सेगमेंट जो है एक आई वाला जो पार्ट है वो देखना कम कर देता है, एंड दैट वंस इट बिकम्स परमानेंट बिकम्स मोर डिफिकल्ट टू ट्रीट, दो नाउडेज सम treatments claim that even in older age also we can correct it, but that is a problem. The treatment what we do is that we block the better eye so that इसको हम stimulate करते हैं ज़्यादा, एक को बंद करके अच्छी वाली को बंद करके लेजी आई को स्टिमुलेट करते, मेक देम प्ले वीडियो गेम्स और व्हाटएवर सो दैट पार्ट गेट्स स्टिमुलेटेड, so that area of the brain which has been shut down or suppressed gets activated. Best thing, it happens up to 8 to 10 years of age when the development is happening. After that, it might be a bit late. Therefore, it is important to do regular checkups and give the child the proper glasses. So we do occlusion of the better eye for the treatment. तो अपने आप ठीक तो normally नहीं होता. Sometimes we have seen that some people have lost their vision by some accident or something in their later life. Then that works like a suppression, and then this weaker eye can sometimes come up. And that we have seen even in adults also, some people can develop an improvement. Therefore, these new things now, they feel that even after 8 to 10 years, it can be improved. But it is not going to be that great compared to that when you do in the child. So the moral of the story is that try to pick it early in the child. Therefore, when the child starts going to school, we should have a one checkup at that time to make sure his vision is okay and there's no imbalance, so that there's no lazy eye element. And yes, you don't lose hopes even in the adult, but better you pick it up early and treat it early.
Next, I have a question. So, when you look at the screen, whether it's a child or even an adult, कई बार ना आंखों से उनका watery हो जाता है, पानी आता है. So, is that the reason कि हम blink नहीं कर रहे हैं ना, or is that the sign of that something?
Most of the times it's because you're not blinking enough, so that causes irritation. And one of the symptoms of dry eyes is watering of the eyes. Paradoxically so, but when the eyes get irritated, then there's a reflex tearing that happens. So that is not the same as the basal tearing that is required. So that is something that अगर आँख में कुछ गिर गया तो एक साथ बहुत ज़्यादा पानी आता है to wash away the thing. So that kind of a tearing can happen.
So, it's because of dry eyes.
It's because of dry eyes.
So, उसमें देखो,
Then use the artificial tear drops. Make sure you blink regularly. So those are the things that we would advise to do.
and in old age also sometimes there is too much of water coming out. That will also dry eyes.
So it can be dry eyes, it can be allergy, it can be other reasons also. So watering can be of multiple causes that can be there. But most common cause is dry eyes that in today's world. Yeah, yeah.
सर जो बच्चे ज्यादा रोते रहते हैं उनके साथ वो फिर उसके बाद वो रब कर लेते हैं आई को, then what happens on that? कुछ उसका इफेक्ट होता है, मतलब they harshly rub their eyes ऐसे 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 ऐसे, तो I think
I presume बहुत ज़्यादा नहीं रोते होंगे, कभी कभी रोते चलता है. And that's all right. So don't worry about that. I mean,
थोड़ा बोलने की
don't.
आंखों से आंसू और फिर वो
See, sometimes now we over worry about the disease also. कभी कभी रब कर लिया तो see, eyes are not meant to be preserved. Do not touch me type of thing. थोड़ा बहुत तो करेंगे ना. It's all right. If it's a regular thing, आप regularly screen पे हो, dryness हो रही, then it's a problem. But कभी कभी तो होगा. So don't get too. That's why I said don't be too paranoid about the eyes. ऐसा नहीं है. अब simple है. Before the eye surgeons came in, people were living nicely. They had normal eye. Huh? So you don't necessarily need us to take care of the eyes. But yeah, don't screw up your eyes. Do take the normal common precautions. That's all. But don't overthink about it. I mean, my purpose is to take away that pressure from you, rather than to tell you कि तुमको हर 3 महीने में आपको checkup करना है. Most of the places that you go, every 6 months you must do an eye checkup. If you don't do an eye checkup, you will have that becomes too pushy. But you don't need anything. You be happy यार, सब कुछ ठीक है. कभी कभी बीच में आ जाओ, देख लो, समझ लो क्या है, take care of your own eyes only. That's all you need. Nothing special required. So thanks a lot for being a lovely audience.